Welcome to the Golden Ratio Podcast. I am Jen, GR Mom, joined as always by GR Dad.
Hi.
How's it going, GR Dad?
Fine.
Nice to be in the same house with you again.
It's weird.
It's been a while.
I was gone, then you were gone. Now neither of us is gone.
To be fair, I was gone for like 24 hours. You were gone for like days.
72, something like that.
Go days.
Mm.
Is Guac stuck under the table? He just stuck his head out and like bent his neck backwards and looked up with us with a very happy face. Oh, he's fine. Okay.
Guac entertains himself sometimes.
So the cocktail of the week this week is the Avocado Margarita.
Thanks, Guac.
My friend Hilda, who I've talked about, she's the one who runs the Mexico section of Epcot. And I don't know what her official title is, but if you go drink tequila at Epcot...
It's like Mezcal Ambassador or something. It's something pretty fancy.
Yeah, but that's like a thing that she is. I don't know what her Disney title is. But anyway, if you go like do the tequila experience in Epcot, she's the one who's in charge of it. She's great. And I talked about her before. She's the one who introduced me to tahini. And she sent me the recipe for the Epcot avocado margarita, which I made. It's very green. It's quite tasty.
Yes. Avocado is the bomb.
Yeah, and
it makes things better.
It doesn't taste super avocado-y.
Yeah, it was good.
But it was good.
Yep.
It was a super secret recipe, but now if you Google it, or if you come to Salt Glitter, I have it linked in my bio right now to the recipe for it.
What do you mean it was super secret?
It was not a recipe you could get anywhere, and then she did an interview with somebody.
Is Disney coming after us? I don't want Disney to come after us.
No. She did send me the recipe, but you can also get it on this like cooking blog where Hilda did an interview with someone and told you how to make it.
Okay, good.
Yeah, I know. You don't want to go after Disney.
I don't want Disney coming. They'll squash me like a bug.
Yep. Okay, so that's the cocktail of the week. It has been a long time since we have last podcasted, and we have many things to discuss.
I mean, it's been the usual time. It just seems like a long time. Is that fair, or did we miss a week?
No, we didn't miss a week.
Hey, good.
All right. So here's the main dog update. Like, we will talk about your trip to Maryland, but the main dog update is that we took VENK to the vet. I was listening to last week's podcast, and we were like, oh, poor VENK, her tongue has broken out once again. We were going to take her up to the vet.
Yeah.
And GR Dad took her up to the vet, and the vet was like, I think a lot of this is happening. I mean, she clearly has developed some pretty serious skin allergies and sensitivities. We've got her on special food. We've been doing all this stuff, allergy testing. And the vet's like, I think a lot of this is happening because she's damp. And, even though we're very thorough about rinsing her, washing her after she swims, drying her off, the vet's like, I think the solution is that you're just going to have to shave VENK.
She did. She said that.
Shave the VENK.
She said it stays moist under there, and that's bad, and that leads to outbreaks.
Yep. And so start shaving her, please.
Yeah. And she's like, I can shave some. And I was like, yes, you can, because I'm not doing it. She's like, we'll do a sanitary clip, or whatever they call it.
Well, that was the previous visit.
Yeah, that's true. They did an extended sanitary clip this time, which included her armpits.
So we decided we are not going to shave the entirety of VENK.
Oh, that would be, I don't want a chihuahua.
The $7 million offer still stands for anyone to shave VENK. That the vet was telling us we have to, but now we're basically going to keep her entire undercarriage shaved. You can't really tell in pictures. It has been shaved for a week now. So if you haven't been noticing, then that's what it's going to look like.
It's a big difference if you try to pet her,
if
though.
you look at her upside down, it's crazy. And she does feel like you're rubbing naked skin. I mean, you are rubbing naked skin.
I just feel like smacking it, making it slap.
So, yeah, I got some special dog trimmers, and we don't use a little guard on it. I mean, they're kind of like barber clippers. No guard, right? Just the base level. And I shaved her because they did her belly. And they did like her armpits and chest, but they left a weird stripe across the middle.
It's like a fur belt.
I took the fur belt off because they want us to keep her shaved.
Sure.
So like all the parts, like her inner thighs, her whole belly, her armpits, part of her chest, all going to be, I think on Sundays, I'm just going to be shave VENK day.
No, she doesn't. She tolerates the shaving process very well, and she doesn't seem to mind being shaved.
No, she doesn't care. So yeah, VENK now, when Ingo called me from the vet and he's like, she says to shave VENK, I was just picturing poor VENK, hairless VENK.
Just with a fluffy head or something.
Oh, it's so sad.
Like a Pomeranian.
VENK, I won't do that to you.
VENK, you could look like a Q-tip.
Oh my God. So anyway, that's that. And then you went up to Maryland. You took Guac and Foods, and nothing else happened here while you were gone. In terms of dog updates. You want
Yes.
to talk about your road trip with Guac?
Yeah,
and
I
Foods?
basically really just went up to see the cicadas.
So good.
But then we had, I was just going to take Guac,
He does love
I was
the car ride.
wavering.
Yeah.
and then the day I was going to leave, Foods gave you big eyes and was like, Murph, and came to the car and was acting like, I really want to go in the car. And you're like, come on, you got to take the Food.
Oh, please. You were
gotta
wavering the
take
whole time.
Food. I was wavering. But you were just like, Foods pushed us both over the edge.
He
an
really
hour
wanted
before
to
I left.
go.
And I have the dog bed in the back. I mean, it wasn't hard to just jam him in there.
He loves the car.
I know. He's a good boy.
And how was he?
He's fine 90% of the time. But then occasionally he will get bored and surprisingly bark really loudly, do his like open mouth.
Ow!
That's it. And it's very startling when you're hurtling up 95 to all of a sudden hear like a ow from the back, because he doesn't do it quietly.
No.
Even Guac got up when it happened. So, but otherwise he's very good. He doesn't get sick. He's pretty patient. There is some overlap between him doing that and needing to go out, but it's certainly not a perfect circle.
Yeah.
But it does make me stop and let him out and walk around. We did lots of long walks because he had barked and he was very interested.
Yeah.
But he didn't need the walks. He just wanted the walks. He just gets bored. And he did try to climb over to the back seat where Guac was at some point to play with Guac. And I was like, no, don't even. We're not doing this.
He's going to be interesting. We're going up to Maryland for a longer trip in the RV with all the dogs in about a week and a half. And it's going to be interesting. It's going to be Voodoo's first road trip in the RV.
Yeah, that's right. Because I took him in a rental car when we got him.
Yeah, the last RV trip was in October to Maryland, and so we got him in November. So
Whole different constellation back then. Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's going to be an easier road trip without St. Patrick, who refused to lay down and was very fragile and unstable, and he was a constant source of stress on those trips. I mean, I miss that boy, but he was...
Stand up and fall over. Stand up and fall over.
It was very stressful.
And then Chief Brody was there, but all he wants to do is get on the gas pedal. Like
He
just wants
goes
to
in the
climb.
front seat, but he doesn't need some management.
He nudges his way forward and forward and forward.
Yeah. And VENK gets weirdly stressed where we have to like barricade the front. There's like a cushion that you can use for a bed, and we take it down and we have to barricade access to the front of the...
Because when we didn't do that, she jumped on the passenger seat and was like, this is where I live now.
But she tries to climb on you if you're driving.
Yeah,
like she gets freaked out.
Weird. There's a weird... It's like when we use the drill or something.
Yeah, we maybe have to give her a Xanax for this trip.
Sure.
Just to bring the edge down for her.
It'll be interesting. That'll be a
That's going to be a whole thing.
interesting dynamic, yeah.
But Voods loves the Maryland house. This was his first time there.
Yeah, he loves having... Because the back door was open. It was in the 70s or colder. So he can just wander out, eat dirt, roam around,
Yeah.
sniff.
He ate your pepper plant in the garden in Maryland.
Yeah, he did. He broke into the fenced garden because he just walked through the fence because he just does that. Fence doesn't mean nothing to him.
Nope.
But he could sit there and then bother Guac enough that Guac played with him. And Voods is pretty good at gambling around now and having like zoomies sometimes.
Yeah. He climbed the stairs a few times in Maryland.
He went down to the basement, which is not remarkable, but then he went up from the basement, which kind of was remarkable, yeah.
It has created a new complication for us because while we both hope he's getting better, he has tried to climb the stairs here a couple times and then gotten stuck. His back legs have given out, and fortunately there has been someone behind him every time. But now he seems more confident about it, and I at least am not more confident in his actual abilities. And the last thing we want is him making it 3/4 of the way up those concrete stairs, and then falling down. So now we got to watch him more carefully outside.
Yeah, he's no longer just depending on the elevator.
Yeah. Okay, the other thing from your visit is the answer to the very important question, are cicadas Voods foods?
They are not. I thought they were, and I gave Voods one, and Voods put it in his mouth, but then kind of dropped it absentmindedly. Clearly did not consider it food, which is
uninterested.
Which is weird since he eats everything else.
Dirt and rocks.
He preferred to munch on clay dirt than cicadas. Yeah,
Yeah,
and I gave him one of the shells, the
Yeah.
non-cicadas, and I gave him a cicada, and neither of them really. He was not interested. It was surprise. I was surprised, a little disappointed, but I didn't want to egg him on because we also needed to walk around with lots of cicadas around.
Yeah. And Guac tried, but he mostly liked squishing them.
Well, once they started beating their wings and buzzing, he was like, "This is too weird. Bad vibes," and he started smushing them. Yeah. He did not want to eat them.
Yeah.
Well, he did put one in his mouth, and then it buzzed, and he went bleh, bleh, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, you guys had a good trip up there.
I did not eat any, and I did not feel like eating any.
There are a ton of them, though.
I just have kind of fond feelings towards them.
Mm-hmm.
They're so amazing. And they're doing the best they can in this weird 2 weeks that they got.
I gotta say, it was a little bit weird, though, where Dad would send me these videos, and he'd be, like, standing there, and he'd have a little cicada sitting on his hand, and it'd be looking at it with its big red eyes, and Dad would be like, "Hey, buddy." And then he'd walk over and stick his hand out to Guac, and Guac would
eat it.
eat it, knock down, murder it. He would murder the cicada.
Then I was like, well, I guess it's nature.
To be fair, I mean, they only live for, like, 2 weeks.
They are bird food.
They don't have mouths.
Birds get fat in the years that they're cicadas, in these prime numbered years.
Yeah, so anyway, we will be up on a big road trip. Yeah, it's gonna be some Maryland excitement.
Yeah.
I was up there today just to go to the physical therapist because someday my butt won't hurt, but today is not that day. But I saw a fantastic physical therapist. I'm so excited. It was my first visit with him, and he's really phenomenal. So I have hope. I have seen a physical therapist here in the Keys, and today's visit to Maryland has really highlighted for me the difference in the quality of medical care available here versus Maryland.
I mean, I don't want to dwell on it, but wasn't the physical therapist here reluctant to massage you?
Yeah,
which is kind of his job.
He thought part of my issue, and I don't think he's wrong on this, is a lot of these running issues come from muscle imbalances because you use some muscles a lot when you're running and not a lot of other ones. And if you don't do anything for the other ones, they get weak, which is definitely a problem I have. And he's like, basically the inner thigh muscles, like your groin muscles, mine are sort of weak. And he was having me do some exercise, and there was some stuff I couldn't do. And he's like, have you ever injured that? And I was like, yeah, when I was playing hockey, it's probably 8 or 9 years ago, I had a groin pull that just, man, that thing was sore for like 2 months.
Those things are tenacious.
Yeah, and he's like, well, that can be part of the problem, and if you get some deep tissue massage on there, it can help kind of break up some of the problem. And he's like, we can do that here, but you may want to find somebody else. And I was like, what? Why? He's like, well, whatever you're comfortable with. As though I would think it's weird for like this physical therapist to do a deep tissue massage on my leg. He's like, yeah, and I was like, Ingo, he seems really uncomfortable about it. I'm 100% going back and making him do it.
That does waken your, let's mess with him a bit.
Like, come on, like there is nothing sexy about a physical therapy massage. No, nothing at all.
Nope. No, on a good day it hurts like hell. So that's bad.
So whatever. I was like, rub it.
Am I paying you?
I'm back.
It,
yeah.
You did go back, and he did have to rub it, didn't he?
He did. He did a good job.
Took the day off.
No, he did a good job. But the guy today, I was like, I've been doing before I came in and we started like this treatment I've been doing for the last month. I'm like, I was doing basically an hour of physical therapy exercises. I had a bunch of stuff that I had been doing, and when I went to the physical therapist down here, he gave me a couple other ones, and the guy's like, I have a different plan. You're gonna do 5 or 10 minutes a day, and that's it. I was like, whoa, what? He's like, here, I'm giving you one exercise. Just do this one exercise every day. And he explained the whole thing. It was great. He's great. So I'm very excited.
Just
and I'm
much more compatible with the dogs, too, because an hour actually meant 2 hours of actual time because someone's always standing on you or trying to sit on you or licking your face.
Yep. But I'm going to be seeing him a couple times a week when we're up in Maryland for 3 weeks. It's going to be good. So anyway,
you're a good patient.
I am
You're
great
very good patient. You follow instructions and you believe in the process.
I will be glad when my butt doesn't hurt anymore.
I'm a bad patient.
That's true. You are kind of a sucky patient.
I mean, I was pretty good at physical therapy, but But
You did 0 physical therapy exercises at home.
they didn't give me anything to do at home.
Lies.
No,
These
they-
are lies.
they
I
did not
have been
give
to
me
physical
homework.
therapy
They
so many
Never
times.
told me
You
there
just
was
didn't
homework.
listen.
They did not tell me there was homework.
All
They're
those
just-
things you did there, you
all-
had to do at home
They
too.
didn't tell me that. They just said, "Come back in a week and
Oh
we'll keep working
my
on
God.
this."
That's not how physical therapy works.
They
Ingo.
never explained that to me.
You didn't listen.
No, they didn't tell me.
Oh my God. This is why you're a bad patient, because
Yeah.
you think this is the truth. All right. Anyway, that's not dog news. But when we go up to Maryland, we are taking Voods to VOSM, Veterinary Orthopedic and Sports Medicine, unlike Metro Orthopedic and Sports Medicine, where I go. Or I go to Metro Orthopedic and Sports Therapy. He's going to Veterinary Orthopedic and Sports Medicine.
Old viewers will recall that's where Queso was swimming for a while.
Yeah, she did treadmill therapy. They have done both of VENK's elbow surgeries and her 2 hip surgeries, including her total hip replacement. It is really a world-class...
Yeah, Vink did aquatherapy there a long time
For a
ago
long
when
time.
she was baby Vink.
Yeah, that was Puppy VENK. That was pre-Golden Ratio social media.
Right.
But they do research. It's really a world-class orthopedic place, and we're very lucky that they're close to us. They're fantastic. So,
Yeah, they're the ones who put in Vink's hip, right?
They did.
Like
They
a
did her hip.
titanium hip.
But she's also done some science, which I think, it's a while ago, but we've talked about on here, where she was in some studies. She was in an arthritis study. It was basically measuring the impact of Dasequin. They didn't say that, but I knew what it was. And then, we did the whole 6 weeks, and they were doing another arthritis study, because she does have elbow arthritis. And I was like, do you want her to sign up? Because it's always hard to get people or dogs to enroll in your studies. And they're like, the doctor thinks that she really just needs to lose weight, and so it wouldn't really be useful.
Damn it. I mean, they weren't wrong, but it
No.
sucks to hear.
So anyway, we're taking Voods up to VOSM. It'll be a couple weeks from now, and
Because of his messed up back legs.
yeah, so they're going to be able to tell us if he needs surgery. Like the vet here is like, it does feel like there maybe is a partial cruciate ligament tear or issue. There's been an injury there, but it's sort of hard to tell. But they have like a mat that he walks on. So there's like a gym area, big open room, and it has a mat that's like 20 feet long. And you have the dog walk along the mat, and it measures how much weight they put on each of their feet. So you can
Yeah.
tell, like, are they favoring one? I mean, obviously he doesn't put a lot of weight on his back legs. But they do all sorts of advanced stuff.
Is that what they
So
did with Queso? I can't
every
remember.
dog who's been there has done that.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, they'll be able to tell if he needs surgery, which like sort of hopefully not, but also if it would help, that'd be great. But
Maybe
I
we
think
should bring hops in.
there's not a lot that they can do for arthritis, which
No.
is Hopper's real problem. But yeah, so they'll be able to tell us, do we need surgery? Is there some physical therapy? They do laser stuff. They do all kinds of advanced treatments for him. If he does need some, we could actually have it done while we're up there. We're taking him the first week that we're up there. And so if they're like, he needs surgery, we could actually do it while we're up there, get some therapy exercises for him. So I don't know that it would make a difference, because he also seems to have some neurological problems. Like he can't control those legs very much, which is it's not typical for what you see. If it's just like, if he had just had like partial tears in his ACLs,
Yeah, this could be a
he wouldn't have
spinal thing. Yeah.
Yeah. So and it could be tied to his medicine for his epilepsy. Anyway, they know, and they're gonna figure it out. So that's very exciting.
Yep.
Anyway, I think that's all the dog updates. You want me to do Taste of the Keys, or did you want to do your German Word of the Week?
You can do Taste of the Keys.
Okay. Couple arrested after fleeing is the title here.
Oh, this one's a good one. Yeah.
A Broward County couple was taken into custody Monday, this is last Monday, after fleeing from deputies in the Lower Keys.
Which is a bad idea, guys.
Brandon from Fort Lauderdale had a 2016 Toyota sedan, and he had a 15-year-old female passenger with him from Hollywood, Florida. They were driving on the shoulder of US 1 at the 7-mile marker. So this is closer to Key West than us. 7
Between
miles
us
from
and
Key
Key
West.
West. Yeah, that's pretty populated 7 Mile, and that's Stock Islandy.
Yeah, it's not quite that far, but look, a lot of times there's not even a shoulder on Route 1. There's just mangroves. So they're driving on the shoulder, and they're trying to get around traffic. So there's a It says, due to an FDOT project, they're planting palm trees in the median of Route 1 down there. And so it has been closed. They've had, parts of the road closed, or, you got to like go around the vehicles because it's only one lane each way for most of it.
So he got impatient.
So he just drove onto the shoulder and tried to drive around them. When he got to mile marker 5, the deputy activated his lights and siren in an attempt to get the vehicle traveling at speeds of up to 80 miles an hour to pull over. So the guy drives on the shoulder, and then he's like, ooh, the fuzz. And he's like, pew, takes off 80.
The fuzz.
The speed limit there is 45.
Yeah.
Okay, so deputy puts the lights on, tries to get him. Guy's going 80. The vehicle makes an immediate U-turn. It goes over the median, starts going north on Route 1, reaching speeds of up to 100 miles an hour, forcing other vehicles from the roadway, passing recklessly and driving on the shoulder. So let's just be clear. They were at mile marker 7. They're passing on the shoulder. Deputy comes from. They get down to mile marker 5, and then they U-turn.
Crazy.
These mile markers are 1 mile apart each, right? So they go from 7 to 5. They make a U-turn, 100 miles an hour, heading north. They get to mile marker 8, and then the vehicle is like, nope, makes a U-turn, heads back south.
Now, right into the construction, probably.
Yes, and let us be clear. Key West is at the end, so going south isn't going to get you anywhere.
No, you got mile marker 8, you got 8 miles, and then it's ocean.
And if you go north, you have 100 miles of just the one road where somebody's going to get you.
A lot of cops.
They're going to get you. Okay, so they get to mile marker 8, they make a U-turn, start heading south again. They get to mile marker 4, they make another U-turn and start heading back north. So they're kind of driving in just a circle.
Giant circle.
They're going south, and then they go north, then they go south, and then they go north, and then they go south again.
They have no plan.
He gets to mile marker 8 again for like the third time. And then he's like, fuck it, I'm just going to drive on the bike path to get away from the cops because there's like traffic here. So he starts driving on the bike path.
Oh my God.
And so the cops stop chasing him, in the interest of public safety.
They're right.
Okay. So mile marker 11. So this is on Big Coppet. This is a key. There's gas stations and houses and stuff on it. So a lot of these keys down here are just empty. Like where he was, like mile marker 7, there's nothing down there. But mile marker 11 is in the middle of Big Coppet, which like it'd be a very small town in the rest of the world, but there's stuff there. Okay.
Yeah.
So deputies re-engaged with the vehicle at mile marker 11, where the volume of traffic was lighter, probably because they're past the construction. An unsuccessful attempt was made at mile marker 15. This is getting close to our house. We're at 17. To deploy spike strips to slow the vehicle. I love spike strips.
I'm a little surprised you haven't ordered spike strips yet. Just to have.
An unsuccessful attempt was made at mile marker 15 to deploy spike strips to slow the vehicle, as it was able to avoid the tire deflation device by driving into oncoming traffic. Oh. So if you've not watched Cops was on all the time in my childhood. It is the television of my childhood. Spike strips it's a strip, and you can like throw it out across the road, and it usually will cover a lane.
It's what it sounds like,
and
right?
It's got spikes
like
in it.
Nails, or spikes.
Yeah, but it's like it's a connected strip. There are spikes that you can deploy that look sort of like big giant jacks that you would play with. They're like individual ones.
Yeah.
But then you got to get those out of the road. Right. The nice thing about spike strips is like if
you roll it up.
Yeah, if someone is coming and it's not your bad guy, you can just yank them out of the road and get them out of the way, so you don't deflate somebody else's tires.
Right.
But you can drive around them, which often happens when they try to deploy spike strips. So they try to deploy them at mile marker 15. He drives into oncoming traffic to get around them.
That's insane.
He continues northbound and goes
past our house.
It goes past our house. Turns onto Johnson Road at mile marker 20. All right, Johnson Road. It's a one-lane road, not one lane in each direction. It's one lane. It's like a driveway sort of, and like. You can turn it. There's a KOA in the Keys. That's there. You can turn in there, and there's like two houses where when I go past them, I sort of worry that they're gonna look at me with their shotguns. No, there's nothing, and it just ends. Everything off of Route 1. So this is a tiny little, quarter-mile long road, barely a road. It's dirt part of it. All right, so he turns onto this road. At the end of the road, he turned back around. because there's nothing else to do. If he could just drive into the woods, and if he did, eventually he would get to a creek. There used to be a bridge there, and the bridge is gone, and there's nowhere for him to go. He has to turn around. So he gets to the end of Johnson Road, turns around, starts heading back towards Route 1, nearly strikes a pedestrian walking a dog, and 2 pursuing sheriff's officer vehicles. I don't know how he and the sheriff's vehicles got past each other on Johnson Road, but he got out of there. She just put those spike strips at the end of Johnson Road.
Besides having no plan, he seems like he's actually a pretty good driver.
The suspect vehicle continued northbound on US 1 at a high rate of speed, nearly 100 miles an hour, and at mile marker 21, so not very far from mile marker 20, which is where Johnson Road is, Deputy Ty Torres was able to successfully deploy the spike strips, deflating the front and rear driver's side tires of the vehicle. At mile marker 21.5, that's getting a little specific. I believe that's on a bridge. The vehicle suddenly turned into the parking lot. Oh, no, it's right over the bridge. The parking lot of Fancy Seafood.
Fancy with an I.
Fanci. Fancy
especially
Seafood.
fancy.
Fancy Seafood is not a fancy place. It's kind of like a wholesaler of fish products.
Yeah.
It's just a squat little white brick building, and they've got like a gravel parking lot and a chain link fence. So he pulls into the parking lot of Fancy Seafood, where the occupants bailed out of the disabled vehicle and led deputies on a foot pursuit. The female complied with deputies. She's 15 and was taken into custody. Brandon, who is observed to have a dark object in his hand, jumped into a canal, concealing himself under a dock.
He hid under a dock.
He jumped in. He's like, swim under. They're never going to find me under here. Initially refusing to comply with deputies' orders, Brandon finally emerged and was also taken into custody. A loaded Glock 45 caliber semi-automatic pistol was recovered on the bottom of the canal where Brandon had jumped in. A search of the vehicle Brandon was driving turned up large quantities of marijuana wax, marijuana concentrate, 4 unlabeled prescription bottles containing 39 grams of Xanax tablets, drug paraphernalia, packaging supplies, and $932 in currency. Deputies also recovered an additional handgun. The loaded Ruger 9mm semi-automatic pistol was located in the glove box. Both Brandon and the female were charged with an array of crimes, including fleeing and eluding, reckless driving, 2 counts of aggravated assault with a motor vehicle. That's from when they hit the cops.
What did she do? She was in the car.
Resisting arrest, possession of a firearm, tampering with evidence, possession of marijuana, possession of drugs without a prescription, and possession of drug paraphernalia. Yeah, I don't know what she exactly deserves from this, but we don't know. I mean, she's a juvenile, right? So they're not saying a lot about her. Brandon remains in Monroe County detention under a $70,000 bond. The female was turned over to the Florida Department.
I don't know why they don't just let him out. He doesn't seem like a flight risk. He seems like a perfectly rational human being.
There you go. That's quite the tale.
That's quite a chase. I mean, that is the longest chase we've.
I think so.
Almost the closest to successful escape or evasion too. Except hiding under a dock, you've really narrowed your options there. And if the guys see you going under the dock, it's embarrassing then.
The thing is, it's 100% impossible to escape. There's no way to get out of the Keys.
There's no place to go.
Yeah. But it does kind of make you go like, ooh, what crazy shit's he going to try next?
Driving on the bike path is, good short-term. He had a lot of good short-term problem fixes, solutions, but he really had no larger plan to get out of this long-term. He was doomed to fail the whole time.
For sure.
Yeah.
All right, dear Dad, you get a German word of the week?
It's a phrase.
Okay.
And
is it fleeing and eluding auf Deutsch?
It's not. Okay. I didn't, come on. I
No,
didn't know
fine.
you were going to use that as your conch life, frankly. I don't plan these things that well. It's 0815. So it's 08/15.
I was going to say, it's
And
0815.
You're just sounding it out, 0815. And it just means totally standard, nothing fancy, no modifications, nothing unusual at all. It's like a totally...
Use it in a sentence.
Sein Auto hat keine Sonderausstattung. Es ist nur ein 0815 Auto. Nichts Besonderes an dem Auto.
So you bought a car and it's just standard.
It's just totally... It doesn't even have to be like that specific, but it's like... It would be like a gray car. You just have like a car that is just totally unnotable.
Plain.
And I think 0815 was the number of a machine gun that they used in the First World War and produced millions of.
Oh,
right?
interesting.
The total standard production, nothing unusual about any of the individual ones. Nothing stands out, but you just be like, this is ziemlich 0815.
Would you say it about a person? Like, I work with this guy, and he's fine, but he's kind of 0815.
Maybe. You're usually more for, like, situations or your job or your house.
Like, honey, how was your day? It was 0815.
0815 Tag, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's a pretty old, I mean, it's a little old-fashioned, but then so am I. Like, I'm not completely up on the new stuff.
Well, I was going to say, a lot of your German is stuff from your parents, right? So you haven't been living as a German speaker for a long time.
That's right.
Yeah.
But I think people still use it.
Interesting.
I think it was like, Machine Gun 8 of 1915 or something, right? Probably however they designated it.
Well, we have some German friends of the squad, so if you guys are listening, tell us if that's a thing people say still.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah, but you're all younger and cooler than we are, or than I am. So.
All right, well, that's it for this week. If you have not already, go get vaccinated. Because, things are getting way better, you guys. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah. And if you want to match VENK, shave your belly.
Go for it. And until next week, don't bite anyone unless they ask you to.
That's right.
Bye.
Bye.